Good morning, I'm Reem Kodmany and you're listening to MediaPlex News Radio. The Ford government plans to invest over $175 million in 128 hospitals around the province. The funds are to cover needed upgrades and repairs. Windsor Regional Hospitals, Erie Shores Healthcare, and the Chatham-Kent Health Alliance are local hospitals that will benefit from this investment. The Windsor Regional Hospital will receive over $1.5 million. University of Windsor students gathered yesterday afternoon to voice their displeasure about recent changes made by the provincial PC government to OSAB and tuition fees. Reem Murphy was on campus with the story.
Roughly 100 students, MPPs, union members, and professors gathered outside of the CAW Center at the University of Windsor campus Thursday for what's being called an emergency rally for affordable and accessible education. The rally is part of a province-wide effort to push back against the provincial government called #WeAreTheStudent. For University of Windsor alumni Bree Arbor, who helped organize the event, the changes have made her reconsider returning to school.
For a lot of my friends who are in a lot more dire situations than myself, most people I've met in my university career have relied a lot more on those things than I have, and most people come from lower income families than me. And so I've seen a lot of people in my life drop out of university because they couldn't afford it.
Some students, like Edward Jones, don't see these changes as a bad thing.
This province has a huge deficit, and as soon as he tries to cut the government spending, to cut the taxes, there's this huge outbreak like this. And so I think it's kind of sad that a lot of people look at it that way.
For MediaPlex News, I'm Jim Murphy.
A Windsor man has been sentenced to 3 years after a number of Mac convenience stores were robbed last August. Rafael Toto, 21, was originally charged with 6 counts of robbery and mischief. After police released a security camera image of the suspect, a neighbor came forward and identified him. Toto has no previous criminal records. The first women's march happened in Washington in 2017. Last year, 3 were approximately 250 marches around the world. On January 17, Windsor had their second annual Women's March, and Juliana Bonnet was there to witness the solidarity.
It's not about politics. It's about those who can't be here today, those who inspire us to move forward.
This year's theme was about anti-violence, which honored women that have been murdered, gone missing, or have been deported. An estimated 150 men, children, and women attended the march that started in front of the Royal Canadian flag on Riverside Drive, with many carrying photos of women to be remembered. Michelle Mannering attended the very first Women's March in 2017 in Washington and knew she had to continue the march in Windsor.
And there's so many issues right now that are facing women. The one we're honoring this evening, murdered and missing Indigenous women we've lost in our own community. It's important that we keep these issues in the forefront because it's not getting any better.
This year, to continue raising awareness and push for progress, Women's March Michigan and Women's March Windsor, Ontario joined on both sides of the Windsor-Detroit border to show support on both ends. For MediaPlex News, I'm Juliana Bonnet.
Now on the weather. Today we will see a chance of flurries with high of -7. Saturday will be mainly sunny and -10. Sunday there is another chance of flurries with a high of -9. Thank you for listening to MediaPlex News Radio. I'm Reem Kodmany. Be sure to tune in at noon. Thank you.